The last myth we're going to hit on, and Philip touched on it, is if you don't get an offer, you can just walk on. That's not always the case. College sports do not work like high school sports. You don't just go to the school, try out for the team, and all of a sudden make it. A lot of times, especially at the higher levels, Philip, these coaches are even recruiting preferred walk-ons. They're recruiting student athletes who they know they're not going to give a scholarship to, but maybe they want still to come play for their program. So I think that's a really important piece to this as well. It's not just like high school. You have to be recruited to play, even at Division III schools where they don't have any athletic scholarships available. They are still recruiting student athletes. So again, all levels, they're recruiting kids. It's not just you show up, you try out for the team, you walk on. Some schools will do that. Some programs will have that. We've all maybe seen the movie Rudy, where Rudy did that to get on the Notre Dame football team. But that's not the reality, and that's not how it is across all of sports. And we've got a clip here queued up from former special teams and quality control coach at Akron University, talking a little bit more about this process. So let's hear from Tony.
If we do have, our board set, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in way more athletic, great player, are they immediately going to go to the top of the board? They might get on the board, but they're not going to go to the top because of all the intangible information that we've already found out about some of the guys that we've made contact with. So I think it's really, really important for recruits to make contact and then stay in contact with the programs that are showing them love. The idea that you're going to pull out a scholarship in the bottom of the ninth is really, really difficult, and it doesn't happen a whole lot. I've told plenty of kids that, the kids that are getting walk-on opportunities from us are kids that have been with us the entire process. They just didn't get the scholarship because there was two other scholarship players in front of them. But we recruited them just as hard as we were recruiting the scholarship players. So if you're not getting that right now, then you need to look for more programs to talk to.
So again, for student athletes who are later in the process, whether you're a senior at this point especially, again, the longer you wait, the less scholarship opportunities there is going to be, right? And that's ultimately what a walk-on is. You're going to that school, you are playing for that program, and that program is not paying you a dime in athletic scholarship money. So, Philip, again, for those seniors at this point, being more realistic, looking at the D3, NAIAs, the junior colleges, but knowing if you're looking to go D1 or D2, if you're a late bloomer or someone that catches that coach's eye, that may be a possibility. But again, even at this point, a lot of those schools have already recruited walk-ons to come play for their program, so it puts them in a little bit more of a challenging spot.
Absolutely. And I think the main takeaway is if that's a route for you where you're leaving it up to maybe a walk-on spot, and there's a number of different scenarios, whether you have a budget for school to get it paid for, you're just not pressured for a scholarship, or, hey, time is up. We're soon crossing that line of, walking across stage and getting to college. Regardless of where you fall in your situation, if walking on is an option, you want to do your darndest. You want to do everything you can to be listed as a preferred walk-on. Okay, very seldomly these days do we see open tryouts, if you will, for walk-on spots, open tryouts for just any students to join the actual team for whatever sport we're talking about. It's really pivotal that you shoot for a preferred walk-on spot where, again, you're basically on a team already. You do everything that a scholarship candidate, that a scholarship student athlete has done regarding the recruiting process, coming on the campus, and even practicing. You do everything except getting the scholarship funding. And in that boat, as a preferred walk-on, you actually are in a position where you can earn a scholarship down the line if that's something that's important to you, more so along the lines of the Rudy story. But again, nothing changes in the recruiting process if you're looking to be a walk-on. You still have to communicate. You still have to be proactive. And again, you still have to really embrace the challenge because it is a challenge. You don't just walk onto or come onto a college program and say, hey, coach, I'm going to try out for the team. When is it? Not how it works anymore. Really embrace the process, whether you're shooting for a scholarship, full, partial, or again, coming onto that team as a walk-on. Really important.
And a lot of walk-ons too, I think it's important to know, you're not going to be playing a whole lot if you're a walk-on. You got to really work your way into that slot. You hear stories about guys like Wisconsin bred, I think, a bunch of walk-ons back in the day, Jim Leonard, Mark Tauscher, guys that played in the NFL that were the exception. They're not the norm. They're the exception to that rule where you walk on and you work your way into that slot. So again, if playing time is important to you, maybe that's where you look at the D3 NAI route versus looking at a walk-on opportunity, but a good myth to bust there as well, Philip. So